I think just to be religious in coding, because I think that's a good saying, right? If you don't code for one day, you would know. If you don't code for 2 days, your boss would know. You don't code for 1 week, everybody would know. That kind of thing.
Hey, hi everybody, welcome back to the Sigma School podcast. Today we're here with Adrian, one of our ex-graduates. Hi Adrian, maybe could you introduce yourself?
My name's Adrian. I'm an ex-graduate.
Yeah. Okay, so can we get a bit of your background? What were you doing before this?
Okay, I'll just start from my first job then. My first job was in tax. I was in Deloitte for about 6 months. I think that was when I realized it's not for me. So, kind of took a leap of faith, joined my friend in headhunting, and then did quite well, very well actually. But after a year and a half, there wasn't much growth. I think after a certain point, you kind of just need to lead people. After a certain level of the job, your next step is to lead people. And then I thought, like, if I jump into that kind of next step, I'll be stuck in that place forever. So left that as well because felt it wasn't right for me. Then took a short career break, and then during that career break, I discovered Sigma School, and then my coding journey began. Yeah, and then after that, got a job right after I graduated from Sigma School in software development, and yeah, so far so good.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thanks. I just realized something. I don't know if I've ever introduced myself throughout all the podcasts that I've done, but it's fine. Let's keep it that way. Okay, so today's theme is going to be your path to software development. So just a couple of starting questions. So first question, why tech?
Why tech? I think because it's a very interesting field. Because tech expands to quite a bit of things. It can be anything. Like anything can use tech. Anything can eventually fall into the tech space. So I thought it was a very good way to future-proof my next journey.
Next question, why can anybody do it?
Do what?
Tech. Why can anybody do programming? Why can anybody do tech?
To transition or to start like?
Just in general, like why can anybody get a tech job? Why can anybody learn tech?
I'll speak from my own experience. So I think anybody can start tech or like transition into tech. It's because it's a skill that you have to practice. You have to use. I mean, I'll say in a coding term because I only know how to code. I don't know anything about cybersecurity or anything.
Okay.
So in terms of coding, in order to be a good coder or like to accomplish anything in coding, your code needs to pass. So you can only say you've completed a project, personal project or whatever project, once it runs smoothly. So if you have done multiple projects, all your code would have passed smoothly and you would have been able to code. So it's just repetition. So anyone who just practices coding and coding, eventually they'll be able to make it in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in that sense, it's very true that anybody that puts in enough time and effort will be able to do it. So
exactly.
probably not just coding, almost anything in general, I guess. Yeah. Okay, nice. So next question. Why now? Why not tomorrow? Why not next week? Why not after 10 years in your previous job? What makes it so attractive to do it at the moment?
Honestly speaking, I just right place, right time. Yeah, I suddenly saw Sigma School when I was on my career break. But also, I think because of the recent boom in tech jobs after COVID, during COVID and then slightly after COVID, it was something that was on the back of my mind. And then I think it was quite popular that people learn coding online first, especially abroad. So that was always something that I thought I could do. Yeah. And then the bootcamp just helped.
So where are you now and what are you doing now?
Okay, so it's January. Wait, it's February. It's February this year.
Yeah.
So just this month, I decided to, instead of work fully in software development, I jumped into SaaS in kind of a project manager / managing position. for a company called Jobia. It's a buzzword lah. It's an AI powered job search SaaS. So that's where I am now. Just currently helping manage the people, the developers, and help launch on time, and focus more on the product.
Okay. Just a very quick question since we're here, I just want to know as well. Did learning programming help you in managing your developers?
Indirectly, in a way where like when just like coding, when you code things, you kind of sort things into like categories in your mind. I'm talking in pseudocode lah, right? But you kind of sort, for example, cars. You will sort cars into one category.
Correct.
And then another object, let's say books, you sort it. Like you naturally sort things in your mind when you code. You sort things when you code also. So I think that level of sorting gave me the experience to be able to like put people in certain spaces where they can probably achieve more. Yeah.
How about like on the more technical side, like when they talk to you technical wise, is it easier for you to pick up now compared to before you started programming?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the most basic things like object. Yeah. At least now I know what an object is.
Because like, I guess it's not as a project manager like, the object isn't working. You're like, do you need to buy it?
Yeah. Yeah. The non-technical project managers.
Okay, nice. Okay, let's jump into the questions. So first question, can you share how you got into programming and what sparked your interest in this field?
How I got into programming? Sigma School's advertising, I guess. Or Sigma School's SEO, but whatever. Second question again?
What sparked your interest in this field?
Similar to before lah. I think it was just naturally the environment I was in. Oh no, actually it's because like before I started learning coding, I was in headhunting. So one thing I noticed was in headhunting we had different teams. So one team would headhunt for like sales, one team would headhunt for accounting, and then we had the team that headhunted for tech.
Okay.
And then the people in tech who headhunted for tech, they had the bigger sales. Means they headhunted the most people. I'm like, oh, okay, the market booms a lot. I mean, the market is booming. People are constantly finding jobs, and it's a fancy word lah, right? When you're not in tech, you hear tech, you're like, oh,
wow,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, nice. Next question. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced when you first started learning programming, and how do you overcome them?
Biggest challenge
when you first started?
I think it's just not really a challenge, but what annoyed me the most was the frustration. Because like when as a coder, once you get stuck on something, it's like stuck in your head, and you'll forever be thinking about it. Like in the shower, when you take a shit, when you're eating, it's like, why is it breaking? Like, why can't I center this button? No lah. But yeah, it just stays in your mind for so long. I think that's the annoying part. You just don't find time to like have peace of mind.
And how did it change over time for you?
Oh, it doesn't change. You still have this? I think all coders will understand. Yeah.
So I guess it's an ongoing challenge, right? Sometimes like you're just thinking about it in the shower, you have to answer in the shower.
Yeah.
And then when you come out of the shower, it just disappears again.
Exactly. When you come out of the shower and then like your dog runs across, you're like, oh, cute dog. And then it just,
gone.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the funny joke is that you're thinking, why does it not work? And when it works, you're thinking, why does it work when it's not supposed to work? So it's really funny. Okay.
No, but the bad part is when it works, the bad part is you're like, oh, okay, it works. Full stop. Move on to your next like to-do task. When what it's supposed to be is, oh, it works. Let me find out why it works. Because that's when you learn. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you overcome these challenges? Any specific strategies, resources, or support systems, like a dog maybe?
No man. I think personal thing lah, but my lifestyle is very kind of obsessive lifestyle. Like when I was like doing tax, I was like fully taxed. I was like
All in.
Just all in. I was always thinking about like, I was in transfer pricing, so I was always thinking about like the new policies at that time. When I was in headhunting, I was thinking like which companies were like going through retrenchment, which companies were like newly in Malaysia or hiring. And then when I was in tech, it's like a lot lah. It's a lot lah. I would like won't have time to sleep in my bed. I would sleep on top of my mattress. So you know your mattress and then you have your blanket.
Yeah.
I would sleep on top of my blanket so that I wouldn't be too comfortable, so that I can wake up in time. Because I slept so late.
Oh my god. That's so sad. Okay, but how do you overcome the challenges though? Like of the constant thinking about your code non-stop. What do you do to like make it better?
I think it's just a mindset. Instead of thinking like, no, it's also hindsight lah. It is hindsight lah. But I think when you change your mind to be more comfortable of thinking that way, because what you're doing is problem solving in your head anyway, in your free time, which is technically good. So I didn't find a way to solve it, but thinking back, I think a way to solve it is to think of all these problems regarding to coding in your mind, to think of it as like a brain exercise thing. Yeah, just look at it positively lah.
Okay. Okay, next question. Could you tell us about one project or coding challenge that you overcame that you're particularly proud of, and what was it that made it so significant to you?
The project that I'm the most proud of is PNC project that I worked in my previous company. I don't think I can say much, but yeah, it was we used a global database. We used a global backend, and then that was one file, and then we had a separate file, code base, which was the library, and then we had a separate file, which was the backend that uses the global, but it's separate on its own. And then we had the code base for the front end. That was user side. Under the same global database, we had the front end for the admin side also. So it's like a very convoluted Venn diagram lah. It's like inside this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a headache, but I managed to implement all the new features that I was asked to do. Managed to fix all the bugs. Yeah. I think just naturally transitioning into a full stack developer role, learning back-end stuff, learning PHP, learning a new language lah. I was very proud of myself. Yeah.
Was it like your first ever big tech project?
Yeah, my boss at that time gave me a big project for my first project. So yeah. I mean, it's good lah, right? You throw your son to the lions and then you hope your son like survives. Yeah.
And if he doesn't, then
he fires me.
Okay. So like what made it very significant to you is because it's your first ever project and it's a big project and you successfully completed everything, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I successfully completed all that was given to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Next question. If you are currently employed, how do you land your current job? Can you share any key moments from your job search and interview process?
I will talk about the job, my software developer job lah.
Sure.
Yeah. Quite natural lah. I think I had the most natural one where I just applied online. Applied for a few, interviewed for a few, and then chose the one I liked. It was very natural. Yeah, I think the tips is just naturally I worked in headhunting, right?
Yeah.
So my job required me to prep my own candidates that are represented to my client. So like being the one who has taught people how to interview, I not to brag lah, but I felt I can interview quite well lah.
Yeah, of course.
So it was just a natural, smooth process. Yeah.
Definitely helps. Can you share any key moments from the job search or an interview process? Maybe I'm sure the interview part and all was fine, but the technical side was definitely something new to you, especially if there was live coding or something like that.
Yeah.
And so maybe share a bit about the key moments.
I think the biggest one to me is they gave me a take-home project. to do over the weekend. So 2 days to do, and it was in a different language. Yeah. So in 2 days, I had to familiarize myself with the language. It was in a different concept also. So it was in an OOP concept. So the way they arranged the code was also a bit different. And it wasn't just like build a website. It was build a system, a very simple system to fulfill contracts. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, but I managed to do it lah. And then that was the job that I got lah.
I mean, I'm sure most of our students, especially, they can do it because honestly speaking, we do push you guys quite hard in the 3 months.
Yeah.
So you guys already been through that in 3 months. Another 2 days, probably just push a bit harder, learn something new. And if not, usually I just recommend ask for your feedback when you feel right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think the projects that Sigma School gives is like, the work that Sigma School gives are all mostly project based, hands-on project based, instead of like theory. So being familiar with like working on projects already helped a lot lah. Yeah.
I guess now it's a bit different actually. Now we actually have weekly tests. Not sure if you guys had that back then.
Oh, what's the failure rate?
Now, failure rate isn't very high. It's actually quite okay because we do go through the material Monday to Friday. So as long as they go through everything during class and practice at home, most likely you'll pass the test.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and we have module assessments as well. So every module you have one assessment. So not sure how it was during your time, but yeah. Okay, next question. I think you already gave some advice, but maybe even more. What advice would you give somebody who wants to become a software developer? And are there any insights you wish you knew before you actually went for your interviews?
Okay, I'll answer the last one first. Insight I knew before I went for interviews. Not really. I think just to manage your own expectations when you join as a software developer. I feel like the current landscape for software developers, SDs, right, is a bit different than like 2-3 years ago. The landscape has changed a little bit. So just to manage your own expectations. And then, what's the first one again?
What advice would you give somebody who wants to become a software developer? From basically, we have our current students now. Let's say your juniors. What advice would you give them right now?
I think just to be religious in coding, because I think that's a good saying, right? If you don't code for 1 day, you would know. If you don't code for 2 days, your boss would know. You don't code for 1 week, everybody would know. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Definitely do agree with you because I haven't coded for 1 month and everybody knows. Yeah, but I guess it's a bit more different, especially after you experience the real working environment and all. Because I was working in data science for maybe 2 years-ish. I think it doesn't go away that easily because you've already been there for so long. But if you're fresh and you're new and you stop coding for just a short while, you might lose a lot of your concepts because even then, when you go into work, like you said, your biggest challenge, you're thinking about it every single second. Even when you're lying down on bed and you're like, okay, it's time to close your eyes. I actually had a time I actually dreamt about my code. I solved it during my dream.
What the hell?
And I got the answer the next day as well. So
you're on drugs, man.
Oh, it is what it is. But okay, next, how do you stay updated with new technology and industry trends? So I remember just now you were mentioning Jobber. It's like the AI powered job searching or something like that. So how do you stay updated with this kind of technology and the trends?
Naturally, I think. So there are a few websites that you can use, but I don't use those because my news feed on my phone is just tailored to outside of my personal interest lah. I mean, tech is in my personal interest, so it's just tailored to my news feed. It's in my YouTube recommendations. It's in my yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I'll just share mine as well since we're on this topic, but my YouTube is there because my boss asked me to watch, so it just comes auto-generated. But other than that, like my Instagram or my threads or Facebook as well, because I'm looking at a lot of this like DeepSeek AI or Gwen, it just pops up by itself as well. Yeah.
No, I think I'm I'm not sure if I said this before, but I like to look at memes of coding.
Oh.
Yeah, coding memes. So yeah, that helps.
Yeah, it's a very unique way, but coding memes do help because it just pops up other related news at the same time. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Okay, next question. You can give about your current role or your previous role as a software engineer. What challenges do you face in your current role, and how do you tackle them?
I think mine's a bit. I have one unique one. So there are a few times where you have to find out. I had to find out like if the issue is with the code itself, because I was working on an old database, old code base. So sometimes I had to figure out if I coded wrong, is my code wrong, or is the old code wrong. So I will spend like one whole day trying to figure it out. Actually longer than that. I spent like 3-4 days. First time 3-4 days. Then I had to eventually ask my boss like, there's this issue. Can you help me out? At the time I reported to the CTO. So like I had to ask the CTO like this junior question.
Yeah.
And then he was like, something wrong with basically not my problem. It was the code problem, like something else, not me. And then I was like, okay, by the way, I was stuck on this for like 4 days. That's why my work is a bit delayed. He's like, what the hell? Don't spend more than 2 hours on this. I'm like, what? So that's when I realized like some things you need to find out yourself, some things you need to ask other people. Because like it saves you time and also you'll never be able to solve yourself. So I think finding out the difference is,
Yeah, I think what you said is actually one of the biggest challenges for all new software developers, or maybe actually even workers in general. When you first join a new place, where do you find the balance between asking and doing it by yourself? Because if you ask too early, they're going to be like, this person is not competent at all.
Yeah.
If you ask too late, they're like, you should have asked. We are your seniors for a reason.
Yeah.
So end of the day, you're going to get... you're probably going to get told off either way.
Yeah.
So I think it's always better to just get told off and get it done.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that's a very big tip you share with everybody. If you don't know, remember to ask, because people actually do want to help if you ask. But if you don't ask, I don't think he would have known, right?
Yeah.
Let's say if you spend another 1 week there, then
I would have gotten fired. 2 weeks to solve something.
So I guess you're working on the legacy code.
I guess you can say legacy code. It was like a old code base that I think it was 2021. Then they didn't touch it until 2024. So I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Next. How do you see your career path evolving in the next few years? Are there any specific goals or milestones you're aiming for?
I think it's already evolved because I'm working in a more project management type of role. Yeah, I just want to see the company that I'm working at now just do well. Yeah.
Interesting. Are there any specific goals or milestones you're aiming for?
Goals? Not sure.
Still exploring the journey, enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
Fair. How about a bit more personal question? So, do you have any personal goals you're aiming for? Any personal achievements you want to achieve by a certain age or time?
I want to retire before I'm 35.
35.
Yeah. We still have how many more years?
8 more years for you.
Okay lah.
Okay lah.
Yeah,
8 more years.
okay
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely doable. Especially in the tech industry and looking at how things are going. What's your goal to retire by 35? What's your game plan?
Own more assets. Own more assets. No shortcuts.
So still working hard in your current job.
Yeah.
Rising up the ranks, making things successful.
Yeah. No, there's no shortcuts in life, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. So I guess even your coding journey started from zero, went through the, I wouldn't say torture because it's going to scare people away, went through the hardships to bring you to where you are today.
No, Sigma School tortured me.
It was great torture then. Okay, that's nice. So I think this is going to be the last question, or hopefully it's the last question. What's one thing that excites you about the future of technology?
AI improvements. Yeah, I can't wait to have more things automated or like have more AI integrated in our life. Yeah.
What's the reason for that?
Less effort to do like the small things. Yeah.
Do you think that having AI would replace humans completely for a lot of things? Let's say our software developers, our data analysts.
No. I mean, like, I used AI when I was working as a developer. The code they gave me was so shit.
Not the best, right?
Yeah, no, it's like terrible.
Yeah. So I guess there is a very big misconception right now that now that AI is here, nobody needs to learn how to code anymore. And everybody's software developer job will be replaced. So what do you think about that?
Not true. I think no. Yeah, I've said this. People have asked me that before, and my answer is always like, people who say that, who say like AI will replace developers, don't know how to code, or have never tried using AI to code. Because those who have tried know that the code sucks.
Correct.
Yeah, and you need to basically recode everything anyway.
And to do that, you need to know how to code.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So right now you have graduated from our bootcamp and you managed to get a job. Would you say it's necessary to get a degree, or would you say just the skills are enough to get a job? Very controversial question. So I don't know if it's going to be added into the podcast.
I think a degree is good for, number one, the discipline. Because like to actually pass in your degree, you need to like have discipline to sit down, study for 3 years, pass everything, and eventually get rewarded lah. So I think that process is important. But if you have that discipline to not slack, and you have trust in yourself, then without a degree is, I guess, not professional advice lah. But I guess it's fine lah without degree. Yeah.
So I guess I mean even your own experience, a tech degree isn't necessary to get a tech job, as long as you have the tech skills that you learn over time.
Yeah. There's I read the news. I think like a few months ago there was one guy who hacked the Poly network, something like that, some DeFi blockchain payment thing lah. He hacked that thing, whatever. And then he got caught. But instead of going to jail, they gave him community service for however long. And then the company that he hacked offered him a CSA job, Chief Security Advisor job. Yeah, I mean, like, it makes sense lah. If you can hack into PayPal, like, okay, at least you got skills lah.
Yeah, you have a lot of skills for that, right? Okay, I think that reaches the end of our podcast. So just to recap your entire journey, it was very amazing seeing you come from your first place at taxation office? Deloitte, correct. And then after that, you went into headhunting at Hayes, if I'm not mistaken. And then from going there, software engineer to sort of project management role currently at your current company, Jobbier. So it's very inspiring seeing that you've been through so many different jobs, and probably every single stage was different. You learn a lot and everything. So, I mean, you gave a lot of good advice as well. I think it's very relevant because a lot of people that join Sigma School and probably want to join us will be either students or career transitioners that aren't too sure. And tech is a great field to join. You are technically you've always technically been in tech, because from recruitment you were recruiting tech, you went in tech as a software engineer, and now you're project management as tech. So I can say you've technically been in tech the whole time. But yeah, thanks Adrian for your stories, and it was very nice talking to you. We hope to hear more stories from you and Jobbier soon. So for the closing remarks and all, we have a gift for Adrian. Let me go get it. Yeah, Adrian, maybe you could just open this and show it to the camera. Hey, so Adrian, could you show it to the camera? We'll just take a photo together. Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, thanks Adrian for coming, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.